The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and he missed the complete that. He's crazy stuff.
Freitas is on the grass on the infield before. He slides through, he tags through. Hello and welcome to Michigan International Speedway for round 9 of the 3-Wide Racing League here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Hi, I'm Samuel Ryman, and with me in the booth is Sean Ambrose. Behind the scenes, doing all the button pushing is our director Kevin Brown, and our camera sets are provided by Dougie Beard. Sean, last time we covered this series, they put on a relatively clean race at Talladega Superspeedway. Now, if we see more of the same here at Michigan, this could very well just turn into a fuel mileage race.
Oh, yeah, Sam. We were talking with some of these drivers here before the race, and you know what? It certainly could turn into a fuel mileage race. I think a few of them are really hoping that turns out to be the case. But hey, before we get started, let's talk a little bit about this track in the famed Irish Hills of Michigan. Southeastern Michigan, just outside of Brooklyn, and Brooklyn, Michigan, that is. This track's been here since 1968, 2 miles, 18 degrees of banking, and a lot of racing grooves on this track, Sam. You've got about 4 or 5 of them you can work with. There's a lot of room, but they get around here so fast, there's not a lot of time to react, and if something's going on in front of you, you're going to have to be quick to make that move if you need to get out of the way. 90 laps around here tonight. It's going to be a long race. 90 laps. That's 180 miles. We're running the B class car, the Camaros and the Mustangs. A little bit different to the Cup cars, the A cars that we're used to seeing here in iRacing. These B cars are a little bit heavier and a little bit less horsepower. So they are a little bit more grippy. You wouldn't know it by some of the action we're seeing here in practice. These guys are still managing to find that fence, but I think everybody right now is trying to push the limits and find the speed. Right now, 40 seconds. Let's see, 45.26 is your pole sitter, Johnny Thomas, right now. Still got plenty of time to go here, though, in qualifying. It's a 10-minute session, group qualifying effort, so there'll be some drafting going on. We do have a fixed setup tonight. I believe this is the iRacing fixed setup. No fast repairs, so if you wreck it, you got to fix it. And, if you wreck it too much, probably not going to make it on the track. You're going to find yourself sitting on that pit lane for upwards of 20-30 minutes making those repairs. So lots to look out for tonight. Only 50%, I'm sorry, not the 50% fuel, but a fuel lap window of about, we were talking earlier, about 24 to 26 laps. So, when we talk about a fuel mileage race, if you think about it, I mean, we're talking probably 4 stops to get this thing done. But as the cautions come out, and you're able to conserve some fuel, you might be able to do it in 3. So tires won't wear as bad as they do on some of the smaller tracks. This track can be a little bit more forgiving there. It's wicked fast, as we're seeing by these times right now. 40 seconds in less than, just over 40 seconds. 2 miles is, you're clicking away pretty good there. So this is going to be a fast one tonight. Really looking forward to getting started here, Sam.
Yes, and we're about halfway through the qualifying session right now. 15-minute qualifying session. We are about 7.5 minutes in. Currently, your pole sitter is Tate Lytle, who won a race earlier in this season at Las Vegas. Like we said, this is round 9. They are currently 8 races through their championship, and it is one of league admins, Tanner Sharp, who currently has the points lead. He just took that points lead the last round from Samuel Close, and as I see on the computer screen, I got my information on there. But however he got it, Tanner Sharp is indeed the points leader as of right now. Samuel Close in second, Richard Lafferty in third, Skylar Nils and Nick Miller rounding out the top 5. However, it's also the top 10 who we've got to keep an eye on, rounded out by Justin Kolb, Johnny Thomas, Corey Lindsay, Race Clark and Jonathan Cooper. Because after round 13, the top 10 are solidified into a chase. And when we go into round 14 at Chicagoland next month, those top 10 will be the only top 10 left fighting for the championship. Now, Sean was talking about the multiple grooves here around Michigan International Speedway, which will create plenty of room for racing, plenty of room for battles, and also high speed, hopefully clean racing. However, if it goes wrong here, Sean, like you say, there's no free repairs, you might be in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, well, cars are traveling so fast around this track. You're approaching speeds of 190, 195 in this B-Class Mustang and Camaro, that there's just not a lot of time to react in a pack. If something happens, it's going to unfold right in front of you, and you better hope that there is room somewhere to get out of the way and avoid the trouble, because, yeah, without those repairs tonight, you're in for a really long race if you wreck this car early. And, going back to what we're talking about, some of the rules and some of the things that 3Wide has in place, it is a 50% fuel cell tonight. So that fuel window, like I said, about 24 to 26 laps, somewhere in that area. We are going to see these guys coming in, getting fuel. It's a good way to promote more pit stops. The on and the off to the pit lane here, not so bad. Lots of room to make that happen. Shouldn't be too much trouble as long as these guys got a little practice in doing it. But, going back to what I said a little while ago, this is going to be an exciting one tonight. We've got some really fast guys in this field. Tanner Sharp, Levi Zielinski, Johnny Thomas, Tate Lytle, Nate Locamy. He looking for a win tonight. Awful fast. He was fast in practice. He's fast in qualifying right now. And even some faster drivers still here in the back. Ron Collinsworth, Carlos Acosta. Look for those guys to be coming towards the front just as quick as they can. There'll be lots of action on the track, Sam.
Yeah, talking about Nate Locamy in the number 01 car, he is one of the drivers who has yet to get a win this season. I'm not sure if he's been in all the races. He's not up there in points, even though he's pace addressed that he should be so. Because not only was he fastest in practice, he has just gone fastest in qualifying to the top of the board in that number 01 car, and he has done that by 7/100ths of a second, which honestly, on a fixed setup track in an open 15-minute qualifying session, 7/100ths of a second, it isn't too shabby. In fact, he has almost a whole 1/10 of a second over Tate Lytle in third. But I digress. We still have 4 or 5 minutes of qualifying left here, and anyone can take pole position away from him. Currently we have 19 times on the board. We had 22 cars in practice, so I'm not sure what happened to the other 3 cars. Now, as I was saying earlier, Sean, we've only ever covered this series once before, and that was at Talladega Superspeedway, so I'm not entirely sure how easy it will be for the cars at the back to work their way up through the field. However, when you're looking at the fuel runs that these cars are going to be getting, only about 20 to 25 laps for a 90-lap race, 3 to 4 stops in this race, maybe even 5. I have a feeling that strategy might be able to get you from the back of the field up to the front.
Yes, sir. And, we'll see how quickly that first caution comes out, but the race could be won or lost to that first caution now, depending on who goes in and who stays out. But certainly if you're at the back of the field, you want to come in and take all 4 tires, fill that thing up with fuel, and leave yourself an opportunity to stay out on one of those later caution flags. I'm looking at the points battle right now. We were talking about Nate. Nate's actually run all 8 races, and he's got no wins. 76 points out of first place. A win tonight would be huge for Nate. If somehow he was able to wind up on top, and Tanner Sharp found himself all the way at the end of this field, Nate could cut that lead by Tanner Sharp in half. So Nate needs clean air, and if he keeps that thing on the pole, clean air is what he's going to have. If he can get a good jump on the start, he's got a great race in front of him there, Sam.
Yeah, now the driver we've been watching for the last couple of minutes is a driver who sits in front of Nate Locamy in the points, and that was Ron Collinsworth. He is currently the first driver outside looking into the chase, 11th in the points, 74 points back. Currently he is qualified 13th out of the 19 cars that have turned a lap time, which isn't too bad. It isn't too great either, but we'll wait to see. I guess the worst thing about it is it's number 13, and we know 13 and racing doesn't always go well, and I don't think it's going to change, Sean, because it looks like they are having a drivers' meeting in pit road right now. Tanner Sharp, the league admin, was talking to us before the race. He says, do not worry, this race session will begin at 15 past 10, no matter what happens. And so we are going to call out the grid order right now, and then we're actually going to try and see if we can talk to a couple of drivers before the race starts. It's Nate Lacombe on pole position by 0.07 of a second over Samuel Close. Great first name there, Samuel. Tate Lytle is third on the grid, about a tenth of a second back. Johnny Thomas is lined up in fourth, and Levi Zelensky, whose last name I will mispronounce throughout the entire broadcast, is lined up in fifth, and I believe he also goes by the name Rowdy, so watch out for Rowdy tonight. Richard Lafferty in sixth, Sean.
Yeah, and getting back to sixth place, Richard Lafferty there in sixth in the number 8 machine, and sitting there right on in the inside just behind him, Tanner Sharp in the number 3, and Tanner looking for a big night here. He needs it if he wants to stay up there. And in 8th place, Jonathan Cope in the number 23. In 9th, on the inside of the 5th row there, that's going to be Paul Ross in the number 51. And outside of him is going to be the always fast Justin Kolb in the number 25.
Yes, and then on the 6th row is Skylar Nissel and Carlos Acosta. Lined up behind them will be Ron Collinsworth, who we were just talking about, in 13th, and Corey Lindsay in 14th. Mike Stevens will be in 15th, and then Dan Collinsworth, who I'm guessing is related to Ron, that's not exactly a usual last name, is lined up in 16th. Krista Nelson, one of our female drivers, in fact I believe our only female driver in the field, lined up in 17th. Dylan Smith 18th. Sorry, I got that wrong. Douglas Thompson 18th. Dylan Smith will round out the field in 19th, and then we'll wait to see if Nathan Young, Race Clark and Nick Miller, who turned practice times but did not turn the lap in qualifying, we'll wait to see if they make the field. So, we are going to try and get an interview in here before the race starts. Let's see if we can talk with Mike Stevens, who will be starting today from 15th on the grid. Mike Stevens, you're getting gridded up on the gridded up for the pace lap right now. You got a moment to talk?
Yes, sir, I do.
15th, I'm sure you're not entirely happy with that, but we expect a lot of strategy throughout this race with about 4 or 5 pit stops to take place. Are you going to depend on that strategy to get up front, or are you going to try and race your way through the field here in these early laps?
I'm thinking fuel strategy is probably going to play a big factor in my strategy for this evening. I'm just going to kind of ride it out at the beginning, see where everybody's at, and kind of develop the strategy as I go.
Okay, now Michigan International Speedway is a very wide track. This is only our second broadcast of you guys. Now you have multiple grooves. Track is known for clean racing. How hard do you think everyone's going to be pushing it in these early laps? Do you think they're going to be right on each other? Do you have that amount of trust in each other? Or are you going to be trying to get spread out and let these laps click off?
I'm thinking that it's probably going to be a bit of a trust issue. You know, we've been racing with each other for quite some time now, and we have a good bit of rapport with each other. There are going to be the few that are going to try to get spread out and try to, you know, get out there by themselves and run their lines, but I see it being one of those races where, you know, we're going to have hopefully some pretty tight racing.
Okay, well, I'll ask my co-commentator here, Sean Ambrose. Have anything you want to ask Mike before the green flag drops?
Mike, I gotta ask, what do you think about the tires? Do you think that tires are going to come into play here? Do you think you might be able to gamble at some point and take 2?
Yeah, I was looking at the tire wear during practice the last couple days, and it's not terrible, so I'm thinking it could potentially be a gamble.
All right, well, hey, we're going to be keeping a close eye on you tonight. You guys are starting to pace here. Going to let you get set, get them belts tight, check all your instruments, and get ready to go to the top of this podium here, Mike. Best of luck to you, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
And that was Mike Stevens, who will be starting from 15th, I believe. You can see for yourself that the pace car has rolled off of the pits. One of the great things about virtual racing is we have one lap and a pace car, then we're going green flag racing. Now, I've said this a couple of times before, this is only our second race cover in the series. This is the first time we've ever covered the series where they've done qualifying. From what I understand, Nate McComey is a very great qualifier, can't always keep it up front. Samuel Close, though, however, has a great first name. He is currently sitting second in the points. I'm going to pick him for my favourite tonight, Sean, because I think he wants to try and get this win and get back in the points lead.
You know, I'm going to go based on what I saw in practice. I got to like Nate's chances here to get this thing done tonight. He needs a win.
Alright, well, we're about to find out very soon, because there goes the pace car. He's made the hard left turn down pit road, and Nate McComey, quick on the gas. He's already going before the green flag waves. Inside line has a great start, and we are racing for 90 laps, 180 miles here at Michigan International Speedway. You see the front of the field getting spread out, already single file. They're too wide back and forth.
Man, the back 6 cars in this race, they fell asleep on the start. They're in a whole nother zip code back here. 4 of them really losing ground quick here.
We have one car up into the wall. That was Sean Thomas, but I was also looking at a potential battle for the lead brewing here. Here comes the number 4 car. Underneath Nate McComey, that is Tate Lytle, who won a race earlier this season. He's not able to get the job done though. Filters back into second. And Samuel Close keeping it close right there in third. It's a 3-way battle for the lead.
Yeah, kind of watching things here at the back right now. Everybody's spreading out. Looks like most everybody is willing to slip into a groove here. Now, I will say the 2 car is really falling back. Carlos Acosta is losing ground every lap here. Don't know if there's a problem with that car, if maybe he caught a little bit of the fence, but he is struggling right now to keep up with most of the cars, and right now he's got the last 4 or 5 cars coming up on him here pretty quick, looking to overtake him and send him all the way to the back. But Carlos Acosta, qualified 12th, has already found his way back to 18th place.
And it looks like we got 21 or 22 starters. I'll check on that in a minute. Meanwhile, I'm watching this battle for second. That continues. Samuel Close, who's underneath the 4 car of Tate Lytle, gets a little bit loose though there on the inside of turns 1 and 2, not able to get the job done. He tried to filter back into the racing line on the high side there, but he can't because here comes Rowdy in another red and white car. He's using that high line in the number 59 Ford Mustang there. He's not able to get it done. He'll remain in 4th. Tate remains in 2nd. Samuel remains in 3rd.
Got a battle back here for 16, 17, and 8th place. Krista Nelson trying to hold on to the charge of Nick Miller and Dan Collinsworth. Can't do it. Now she's feeling the pressure from the number 22, Race Clark. Really racy bunch, these 4 back here. They're using all 4 to 5 grooves of the track right now, even dropping a little bit to the apron there, coming out of 4. Pretty exciting race going on back here.
Yeah, there is, and you can probably see at the back of your screen right there the reason for my confusion. 22 cars did indeed start this race, but Nathan Young, currently running 22nd, is blinking in and out like a Christmas tree. Obviously some internet connections there. Hopefully he will get that sorted. We are currently only working lap 5, so there's plenty of racing still to go. We ride on board the 14th place car of Carlos Acosta. Right in front of him is Ron Collinsworth.
Yeah, you got Mike Stevens right now trying to make a move on Acosta. Just right there, got up under him, and then Acosta had a better run off of turn 2, heading down the back straight, and able to hold off that run from Mike Stevens. And now Mike Stevens seems to have lost the handle on it just a little bit. We see now Stevens is still hanging with him. He's managing to, he's kind of going to the low side and end up to the high side. Doesn't seem to be really locked into a groove yet, and that is going to hurt him trying to catch Acosta. Acosta trying to catch Collinsworth, as I hear we got somebody kicking up dirt on the track. Probably catching a little bit too much of that apron, Sam.
Yeah, it looked like an orange car, so it could either be Johnny Thomas running in 10th or Skylar Nissel running in 11th. They say you can use up multiple grooves here, but they went all the way down and below the apron, kicking up a bit of grass. Not a whole lot of grip down there. Mind you, that's a great battle actually going on right now for 10th, because John Johnny Thomas just drifted up high, and underneath him comes Skylar Nissel. Meanwhile, we ride on board Tanner Sharp, who is riding in 6th place. Ahead of him is Richard Lafferty, and I see we already have a car on pit road, so I'll try and find out what's going on there.
Alright, so Carlos Acosta managed to pull off the move there on the number 46 of Dan Collinsworth, and now it's Mike Stevens gets up in front of Collinsworth there, and Dan having a little bit of trouble with these guys. They're starting to spread out a little bit, and Dan is doing the best he can to just keep up, and man, Dan is right on the bumper of Stevens right now, making it really close, and now Stevens is trying to get to the bumper of the number 2 car, Carlos Acosta, who is making up ground and does have his sights set right now on that car in front of him, and I'm trying to see who that is right now. That looks like the 51, the 31, I'm sorry, Skylar Nissel. Yeah, Acosta all over the deck of Skylar Nissel right now.
Jumping around here a bit at the back, but that's okay. There's plenty of racing going on, and you're not missing a heck of a lot up front. They continue to spread out. Currently right now, watch that battle between Skylar Nissel. Right behind him is Ron Collinsworth, and then behind him we have Nick Miller and Dan Collinsworth also involved in that battle right there. Tail end of the field right now, but as we said earlier in the broadcast, Sean, even though these drivers have fixed setups, they have strategies they can play with 2-4 tyres, take fuel or not. We'll wait and see if they can move up to the front of the field late in this race, because with the amount of racing we've had going on right now, it's been clean so far. I don't know if they'll be able to keep it up for 180 miles though.
Yeah, we're back on board with Acosta right now, watching the struggle he's having right now, and he just can't keep Mike Stevens out of his mirror, man. Right now, he's trying to focus on what's in front of him, but Mike Stevens is the ever constant right there in his mirror. Now, it does look like right now the next victim is going to be Corey Lindsay if Corey doesn't get on that loud pedal here pretty quick. Looks like he could succumb to Acosta's charge here. Skylar Nissel, though, manages to break away and get in front of that 90 car, Corey Lindsay, and right now it looks like Acosta is setting up Lindsay right now as they head into turn 1, make their way through 2 and down the backstretch. We could see a little drafting here and maybe even a slingshot move coming up. Maybe not this lap, maybe on the next one. Looks like there's still a little bit too much distance between them to pull it off right now.
10 laps into this 90-lap race, and the whole field of 21 cars of the 22 starters is covered by 12 seconds. The one driver who has just retired from the race was Nathan Young. His internet connection was a bit rough, and so he may have just retired and come back late in the race when he's got that sorted out. So that's unfortunate for the number 12 car. We go down to 21 cars. Look at this battle going on. Oh, and we got Spinner. How many other cars is he going to collect, though? That's the big question, and that was Justin Kolb, and somehow I think it may just be a single car incident. The number 25 car, Justin Kolb, racing there. The number 83 car, a bit of netcode there. And the Steve Burns Memorial car gets a bit sideswiped by the number 31 of Skylar Nissel. The number 83 was Johnny Thomas. So that does bring out a caution, but a very nice save there.
Yeah, that was total netcode, Sam. I didn't see. I saw plenty of light between both of those cars right there. Looks like we just suffered an unfortunate instance of netcode there. Not a lot of damage on the Kolb car. I got a feeling he's going to be able to get that fixed. Haven't had a chance to see the side of Nissel's car yet, but got to imagine Nissel got a little bit nicked up there too on that little side swipe. Not seeing a lot there. Nissel may be in good shape, but we're 12 laps into this race. It's going to be interesting to see who's going to come in, who's going to stay out at this point.
Yeah, now right now I see it looks like we're having a bit of technical difficulties right here. I can tell you you're not missing nothing because no one has came into the pits as of right now. But they are coming out of turn 4 and Nate Lacombe is going to bring them down. We'll, if nothing else, we'll be able to bring you an audio description of what's going in here. We'll wait to see if anyone takes 2 tires. I can tell you there's one car who is definitely staying out on the racetrack. and that looks like that is Corey Lindsay. So maybe he's just trying to avoid the traffic and he'll be in next time around, because I have a feeling you're halfway through a fuel run here. You're definitely going to want a pit for fuel at the least. Nate Lacombe leads them into the pits. He is currently in his pit still, as is pretty much everyone else. How many tyres is he going to take? I'm going to assume he'll take 4, because even if he takes 2, and he's... Levi, that's Rowdy. Levi Zelensky wins the race off the pit road. He must be the only one that took 2, though, because Nate Lacombe is off behind him. I have a feeling we're going to want to take a quick break here, sort out what technical issues are going on. Corey Lindsay and Race Clark stayed out, but they'll be in the pits next time by. Rowdy will most likely be your leader when we return to racing here. Hello and welcome back to Michigan International Speedway, and I apologise for apologising because there was absolutely nothing wrong with their broadcast. It was all on my computer, had froze, and it looked like our broadcast was having issues, and that was not the case. You will notice that we have a new leader up here, the number 22 car of Race Clark, who has not came into the pits, which was a very strange decision considering they're only halfway through a fuel run. And it looks like as they get double file that the pace lights are going to go off this time by. But what that does do is it gives us time, and the lights do indeed go off, to talk to Mike Stevens, who will restart in 12th position. Mike, very quickly, we know you're only 2 miles away from a restart right here. You've worked your way up to 12th. Not a whole lot of strategy in this first pit stop. How's your race going so far?
It's going pretty well, actually. Starting to figure out it's a little hard to make a pass in the corner. You got to have a good run, and you got to get up around the outside because you can't pass down low.
I didn't realise you had the number 63 on your car. That's the number I usually run. How'd you come about that?
It's been my football number when I was in high school, and I've just stuck with it ever since.
Alright, well, if you're out of football, you probably got a couple of big muscles there, so using the wheel that car around, hopefully we'll see you in the top 10 soon. I apologise, just apologised.
It's all good, man.
Alright, take care, Mike. We hope to see you in the top 10 soon.
10-4, thanks, guys.
Sean, I'll let you handle the interviews from now on.
I thought you were going to get him to try and rip the steering wheel off out of his sim there.
Hey, maybe we'll see if he can show us the steering wheel if he wins the race. Maybe that'll be his victory celebration there. Anyhow, pace car's off. Race car has control of the field, and he gets a very great restart. Let's wait and see. Well, not even how well these tyres hold up, but how many laps he can do before he has to pit for fuel.
Well, I got a feeling these guys right behind him, Levi Zielinski and Tate Lytle, are going to pick him up pretty quickly if they can just work together. Although Tate
not doing
and
that.
Levi having a nice battle there out of turn 2, door to door.
Yeah, we might think they want to work with each other, but they almost just took each other out right there. Tate Lytle and Levi Zielinski getting very close to him. Remember, Levi is on 2 tyres. Meanwhile, Nate Lacombe, who restarted third, he's about to drop back to 5th place here.
A little bit of contact between Mike Stevens and Ron Collinsworth. Almost got Stevens spinning across the front stretch.
And you see they're fanned out very much so. They're going to turns 1 and 2 here. And they seem to get single file a little bit and get through the turn okay.
And then, we got to watch out back here. We got some wild Douglas Thompson right now battling a loose race car, but making it work. That car is just the number 13 is all over the track right now, but he seems to be making it work as he just split the middle 3 wide there, and the yellow flag is out.
Caution.
Sam, do you see it?
And it is Skylar Nissel. He has collided with the University of Michigan car, Dan Collinsworth, and they get into each other as they try to get back on the track. I'm not quite sure if that's out of anger. Dan's car is blinking a lot. I wonder if Skylar Nissel just didn't see him, or if we had another netcode incident. Oh, it looks like what happened is there was the first incident and Krista Nelson goes high to avoid it and gets into Skylar Nissel.
Yeah, it all got tripped off there with Richard Lafferty actually getting a piece of the rear bumper, the left corner of Dan Collinsworth there, sending Dan spinning around, and then Krista checks up behind, and that started that. Krista had to make an evasive move right up to the outside of the track there and up in near the wall. That was that was pretty hairy.
This is as Dan Collinsworth comes out of pits. I'm wondering if internet connection, remember this is sim racing, could become a bit of a story tonight, Sean. We've already lost one driver, and our first caution was due to netcode, and a couple of those cars blinking in that latest wreck were blinking. And I've got to be honest, from my broadcast booth, I actually lost the connection earlier during this race too. You have a feeling these little technical glitches might play a role in this race?
Man, I sure hope not, but so far it does seem like it has been a factor. You know, I keep watching this replay, and Skylar Nissel was the real loser in all of this, because when Krista Nelson made her move to avoid Richard Lafferty just below there, she took a right turn, got right into Skylar Nissel, and Nissel hit that wall hard. Already working with a little bit of damage. I'm afraid that might be the end of Skylar's race. I'm certainly going to take him out of contention. He's probably going to have to spend many laps there in pit lane trying to get that car repaired, if it's even repairable at this point.
Now, there were several drivers who came into the pits during that caution. A lot of them were at the tail end of the field, just topping up with fuel. But one of them also was Race Clark, who was one of the drivers who did not qualify. So he started from 20th at the back. He did not pit under the first yellow, and he pit under this yellow. So Race Clark is certainly our strategy guy to keep an eye on this race.
Yeah, I'm still the only person in this field that has not opted to go in and take care of that car.
He just came in. And he's sitting 9th in the points, so this strategy's worked for him in the past, Sean.
Did you say Clark just came in?
Last time around.
Oh, I missed it. Okay, all right, thank you.
In fact, this caution's gone by very quickly. The pace car lights are already off. We're going to be green flag racing next time by Now, as you were talking about Skylar Nissel getting damaged, it looks like the number 31 car is a lap down, in fact still in the pit stall getting significant repairs. I can't tell if Kristen Nelson, Richard Lafferty is in the pits. I'm pretty sure he's still on the lead lap. I don't know if Kristen Nelson has lost a lap or not.
I am showing Chris is still on the lead lap right now.
Well, we'll wait and find out once the race gets restarted. We'll get everything sorted out here. Tate Lytle is now going to be leading the field to the restart. Levi Zielinski lined up alongside Tate, and behind them will be Nate Lacombe, who was saved by that quick caution there, really, because he was beginning to drop back a little bit. Samuel Close still running up in that top two rows there. And Paul Ross, a name we haven't mentioned tonight, he was 16th in practice, 6th in qualifying, currently 5th in the race, so he's been coming into his own every single session. And it looks like every time they've restarted, the leader has chosen the high line, so obviously they're preferring that. Tate Lytle on the gas, and number 4 car leads away. Levi Zielinski on the low line. I'm going to guess it's going to get single file here as they go back into turns 1 and 2. This is lap 21.
And there is thunder in the eastern hills of Michigan here, in those Irish hills, as these cars head into turn 1, picking up speed and probably be close to somewhere around 180 miles an hour coming off 2 and heading down the backstretch, Sam.
Someone in the wall, and they're 3 wide as a result. No one out of the race though. But meanwhile, we got about for the lead. Here goes Levi Zielinski down low. It's not going to work though because the air of Tate Lytle on the high side makes him loose, or the absence of air rather. Samuel Close going to take advantage. He goes to the low side of Levi as they go down the backstretch. The battle is on for P2, but can Samuel Close close the deal in turns 1 and 2?
Interesting battle.
I don't think he's going to do it. Oh, is there someone in the wall coming out of turn 2 again? Very close if not. They're racing really wild at the back of the field. 2 and 3 wide. Well, we ride on board Zielinski. You see Samuel Close again under. He's not able to make it work there though. And as they battle side by side, that's given Nate Lacombe a great opportunity to pass, to run them down. He's got nowhere to go.
Man, this is a battle going on back here. We got Tanner Sharp right now, kind of just stuck in the middle of 4 other cars right now. And Richard Lafferty is back in this race, all over the bumper of Tanner Sharp. Tanner working on Corey Lindsay. Acosta just gets a little bit of the fence coming out of the turn. 3 wide, heading down the backstretch, heading into 3. Tanner Sharp, Corey Lindsay, Acosta up there on the high side. Man, what a race.
And while all that's going on at back, we are riding on board Nate Lacombe, who is looking underneath the number 5 car of Samuel Close. Can't see it, but behind Nate Lacombe, Paul Ross was actually looking underneath him for 4th. None of that's happening though. I have a feeling Nate may have made a mistake here because it seems the high line is where the runs are coming from. Paul Ross may be able to get a run on him, but he's not able to do anything with it. We go back to take a look at this massive battle going on in the middle of the field with, and no, we actually get back up front right here. There's so many battles to keep an eye on, Sean, as we watch Douglas Thompson on the inside here.
Man, I mean, we've got literally, there are like 9 cars. Oh, yeah, contact right there. And the 9 car is the recipient, Nick Miller. Nick Miller up into the wall as he got a little bit of contact there from, looked like, I guess that was Lafferty that got a piece of him there. And, well, it might have been Thompson. I'll have to go back and look at that. But Nick
in the wall again.
Yeah, Nick is in the wall again. Just couldn't get the handle back on that car. It's not handling well now for sure. As that's a couple times into that fence is not good on the right front of that car. A little bit of damage there. He's going to have trouble wheeling this thing around. Especially going to have trouble with the arrow on it. It's going to scuff off speed and going to make it really a hard time for him to catch the draft.
Another driver who had issues a couple of seconds before he did was Paul Ross, running up in that battle for 5th. He actually got a piece of the ball coming out of turn 4 a couple of seconds before that incident took place. He didn't drop back as far as Nick Miller did, though. Meanwhile, this battle continues. I'm feeling we're going to have another caution here before too long.
Boy, it sure looks like it. These guys are battling hard. Race Park with a nice move on the inside of, 45 to Collinsworth. Yeah, and man, cars scrambling all over the place right there. Tanner Sharp drops it low. Lafferty right behind him. The number 90 machine, Corey Lindsay up top and then back to the middle as they come across the line. The number 22, Race Clark there in the mix. What a race going on. And Collinsworth still finds a way to get to the front and in front of this. Oh, and contact by Lafferty into the 22. Race Clark in the wall. No flag yet.
Oh, and that's unfortunate for Mr. Strategy. He was at the front of the cars on new tyres, probably trying to make their way through the back of the cars who were on old tyres, and the lines just intersected there in turns 1 and 2, and as a result, Clark is in the wall and going back to the back. Meanwhile, quick update on the top 5. It is Tate Lytle, Samuel Close, Nate Lacombe, Levi Zielinski, and Jonathan Cooper has now worked his way up into 5th.
Boy, Race Clark, the big loser there. That Nashville Predator machine is hurting right now. Damage on all 4 sides.
Carlos Acosta was in the wall there in turns 1 and 2. I don't know if there was contact or he just overshot it. Fortunately, it looks like he's going to be able to keep going, but the right side of that Geico Chevrolet is a little fucked up.
Well, I know Kristen Nelson, who is in the thick of this race right here, a lap down, really hoping she can get a yellow flag here and get that lucky dog. We're watching Acosta right now, on board with him. He is setting up Mike Stevens, trying to anyway, just a little bit of damage on that right front of the car. He has caught that fence, and once you get that arrow a little knocked out, you're going to have trouble running with these guys and drafting up to them, and even the side-by-side could be difficult. It will make that car want to get a little squirrely, but these 5 cars right here are still in a really tight battle.
You might want to tell Carlos that, Sean, because he's not slowing down. He was looking at Mike Stevens there, trying to get a position. They're 3 wide in front of him. I'm feeling Carlos Acosta, yeah, his car may be damaged, but it doesn't seem to be slowing him down a whole lot. And the reason for that is probably because he has cars in front of him and he can hold on to the draft. I know this isn't a super speedway track, but still it's very aero dependent. I have a feeling if he didn't have those cars in front of him, that may hurt him a little bit. And we've got a change for second going on right here. Nate Lacombe ran his way back up front. He just went by Samuel Close, and Tate Lytle is not too far in front of him.
You talked about the draft here. Now these B cars tend to maybe cut a little bit bigger hole in the air than the A cars do, and because of that, you will see a little bit better drafting out of these cars than you do in the A cars. Now, of course, they're not as fast, but they sucked up pretty good. But I'll tell you what, there is a limit to that. If you get just far enough back, it's tough to catch up. You've got to do a lot of work. We're watching Carlos Acosta doing that right now. He's trying to run off some really good laps and stay consistent. He's catching Collinsworth, but it's really it's a slow roll. I mean, it's just a little bit every lap. But as long as he stays true to that line, he should be okay.
Here we go, about for the lead. Nate Lacombe looking underneath the 4 car of Tate Lytle. How much of a fight is Tate going to put up? Because this is for the lead, which will make you think he's going to fight for it, and he does there. But at the same time, Nate Lacombe has just been running them all down. However, he's not able to get anything done there, and this is the best thing that Lytle can see. The battle for second resumes in his rearview mirror. These 2 drivers are going to start holding each other up. Ford versus Chevy. Samuel Close on the inside. Nate Lacombe on the outside, dropping back to 3rd. And I don't think we've heard the last of Jonathan Cooper. He has worked his way up into 4th. He's not too far behind these top 3. Levi Zielinski, not sure what happened to him, but he's dropped all the way back to 6th. Paul Ross is now back up into 5th place, despite being in the wall not too long ago.
Man, you know what? Richard Lafferty, after being involved in that last caution, he is still on the move. Managed to get his way into the top 10 now. He's in 9th. he on that restart, I believe he had dropped all the way back to 19th, 18th, Sam. Lafferty just having a really great run right now. Now, he's benefited from a little bit of trouble some of these other guys have had, like Nick Miller and Dan Collinsworth did, and even Race Clark. But Richard having a really solid run, fighting off the place. I think we're going to start seeing that fuel strategy come into play here pretty soon.
I'm feeling within the next 5-10 laps or so, and Justin Kolb just goes by Richard Lafferty there, although he hasn't entirely got the move done yet. Side by side heading into turn 3, they got very close there, didn't quite touch, and if Justin Kolb is clear off of the 4th turn, he will have the position, and that's not what's going to happen. Boy, these two drivers holding each other up, and meanwhile we got Bell for the lead. Tate Lytle has it, Nate Lacombe wanted it, overshot turns 1 and 2, and into the wall goes Samuel Close. So, that battle, it came and then it went. And Tate Lytle was over the radio. I have a feeling he might be coming into the pits. Here he comes, our leader's into the pits.
Tate is in. He was telling Nate to go around, take him eye.
Oh, you got to feel a bit gutted there if you're Nate Lacombe. You completely overshot the first corner, and it mattered for naught anyway, because the leader was coming in. Jonathan Cooper, I believe that is, also in behind him. And also we got Ron Collinsworth into the pits.
Yeah, a couple of cars now coming in here as we scroll back through the field here. Looks like Collinsworth's coming in, and Jonathan Cooper's in. Tate Lytle, we knew that, but yeah, it's time. It's starting to play out. I guess I spoke on time there. I thought maybe we'd have a few more laps, but obviously some of these guys are starting to run a little thin on fuel and picking their spot to come in and take that fuel and 4 tires right now.
And the 2 leaders stay out, and they are now on lap 37, and even though this is a 2-mile speedway, they will put everyone who's pit a lap down. However, we still have over half the race left. If a caution flag flies, those drivers will be able to take a wave around and get back into the race, although they'll be at the back of the field, so they're probably hoping for it to stay green. Let's see, Nate Lacombe working his way through turns 3 and 4 right now, but he's not on the bottom. He's saying next time. He is coming in this time, and Samuel Close is coming in behind him. And look at Samuel Close, he comes in a lot faster, and I think he was slowed down before he got to the cone. Samuel Close overtook Nate Lacombe on pit entry, and that is because Nate Lacombe completely came in way too cold.
Yeah, he was down to speed before the commit on there.
That's a big mistake by Nate. Oh, and I thought I just saw another mistake. It looked like Samuel Close had overshot his pit stall, but he hasn't. He's got his nose sitting right on the yellow line, though, at least on my computer he is. Nate Lacombe typing in the chat, he knows he was too conservative, and as a consequence, Samuel Close is going to come out in front of him. But where is that green car? There is that green car. Look at just those 1 or 2 laps on fresher tyres as gave Tate Lytle his lead back, but now Samuel Close and Nate Lacombe have slighter newer tyres, and honestly we saw them running Lytle down at the end of the last run, so this is definitely not over yet.
No, not by a long shot. Although we are approaching the halfway point, I want to give a shout out to Tanner Sharp. He's looking strong. Still needs to get that car in the pits, but Tanner having a nice run here today, and after starting in 7th place, he's got himself up here towards the front.
Yeah, he's got himself in the lead right now, and let's not forget that he can probably go about 10 laps, because we saw these drivers who just came into the pits did not pit under the latest caution. So this is going to be a bit of a strategy call. I'm going to stop short of saying Tanner Sharp can make it on 2 more stops from the end here. Mind you, is that Richard Lafferty right behind him, running him down for position, and the 59 car there of Levi Zielinski leaving the pits, I assume. So, Tanner Sharp currently leads, Richard Lafferty right behind him. They're going to keep on going. Obviously, the problem is, if they can't make it on 2 more stops, they probably
Tanner's coming in. Tanner's coming in.
They're probably going to want to do this so they're not losing so much time on the old tyres they have right now. Couple cars coming in by Tanner. Mike Stevens is one of them. Krista Nelson. Obviously, Krista Nelson probably wants it to stay green a little bit. That'll put more cars a lap down, and even though that means she won't get the lucky dog, she'll be able to pick off those cars who are a lap down. Mind you, there's nothing saying strategy couldn't work in her favour later on and get her back on the lead lap.
Well, right now, Lafferty is your leader, but just like everybody else here, Lafferty is going to have to come into the pits now. He stopped twice already, so he's probably got just another lap or two in him before he needs to come in. Sharp is coming out right here, and Lafferty is coming around to him, so nice pit stop by Tanner Sharp. Not going to lose a whole lot there. That's good work by that 3 team.
Justin Cole, Carlos Acosta are in the pits, and Ikolinski just unlapped himself from the current leader, Richard LaFerty. That shows you what new tyres can do, and that's going to be a good advantage to him, I should imagine, if a caution came out right now. This is lap 42 of 90. And Richard LaFerty is in the pits, but we're going to go back to this battle for 8th right now. Paul Ross, who has been running in about the top 5 all race, is now being challenged by Johnny Thomas, who has been racing in the top 10 all race, and is probably going to want to move up into that top 5 status now.
Yeah, well, you know, Johnny caught a little bit of the fence earlier, and early on in this race, right shortly there after the start, looks like he was able to get some of that repaired. And has a pretty strong race car right now. He's got himself in the top 10. Obviously, he started in 4th, and he's lost some positions, but car looks strong now. Running a nice, clean line around this track, and doing a little bit of work here with Paul Ross. Maybe drafting a little bit here, and just trying to maybe get to that next pack of cars, which is about 5 to 6 seconds up ahead of them. But they can do it if they just work together here and start picking them off.
Oh,
Jonathan Cooper just in front of them there.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's closer than that, because pit stops have now cycled through. Jonathan Cooper is in 4th place, not too far in front of him. This is now a battle for 5th between Paul Ross, who is getting a bump chart from Johnny Thomas down the front stretch. That is perfectly acceptable here at Michigan International Speedway.
Yes, it is, and you will see a lot of guys work that. You take the short way around the track. As we go on board with Johnny Thomas right now, we see here now, right behind him, right behind Johnny Thomas is that 83 machine. I'm sorry, Johnny Thomas is the 83 machine. He's battling with the 51 of Paul Ross. I had that all mixed up, Sam. Please help me. No, everything's good here as we head down the front stretch there, and it looks like Thomas is going to pull off that move on Paul Ross and take that position. Johnny Thomas got himself into a 5th place right now, doing good there over the top 5, and next car coming up, Jonathan Cooper.
Paul Ross gets a good run off of the second turn, but looks like he's just going to give the number 83 car a bit of a bump here. Meanwhile, the top 3 in front of these drivers that we have mentioned are Tate Lytle, who has a significant lead over Samuel Close, who has a not so significant lead over Nate Lacombe. They are running right together in, I'm going to call it a battle for second. I'm not sure if these two are going to want to try and work together as well, Sean, to run down the 4 car. Although, did Tate? I was just watching Tate Lytle off of turn 2 there. If he didn't get in the wall, he got very close to it.
Well, we just hit the halfway mark there, Sam, and I think real quick we're going to run through the field here. Tate Lytle is our leader. Samuel Close in 2nd. Nate Lacombe in 3rd. Jonathan Cooper in 4th. Johnny Thomas in 5th. Paul Ross there in 6th. Richard Lafferty having a battle out here tonight in 7th right now. Tanner Sharp in 8th. Levi Zielinski battling out there in 9th. And Justin Cole rounds out the top 10 right now, Sam.
Not sure how Levi Zielinski fell that far back. It is Corey Lindsay in 11th, Nick Miller in 12th, Mike Stevens in 13th, Carlos Acosta in 14th, Dylan Smith rounds out the top 15. Then we've got Ron Collinsworth, Royce Clark, Dan Collinsworth and Douglas Thompson round out the 19 cars left on the lead lap. Krista Nelson is 1 lap down. Skyler Nissel is 11 laps down. He was significantly damaged in the first caution of this race, I believe, but he is still out there turning laps. Nathan Young cannot say the same, as a battle for second is going on down the front stretch. Here comes Nick Lacombe, and I think he's got it.
Yeah, you were talking about Skyler Nissel. A lot of damage there, but looking at this battle right now between Jonathan Cooper and Johnny Thomas. Thomas trying to get around that Maker's Mark machine, and Cooper doing a really, really good job at keeping him off. But as we head into the turn here, you know what? Cooper getting a really nice run up top there. But Thomas brings it down and is able, tries to put the slide job on him. Can't quite pull it off there. It looks like Cooper is going to keep. That was really close going across the line, but Cooper is still in 4th place right now. Cooper having a lot of success up there on that higher line of the track, and it really comes down to driving style, Sam. Everybody drives these cars a little bit differently, but right now Cooper seems to be making that work, even though Thomas just got around him. It does seem like Thomas is really comfortable up there on that high line. Or I'm sorry, Cooper comfortable up there on that high line.
Douglas Thompson and Dan Collinsworth have just gone a lap down. We're going to go have a look at Carlos Acosta, who is running in 13th place. He's been in the wars a little bit today. He has just been passed by Dylan Smith in the Navy number 81 car. He moves up into 18th. Their next target is Nick Miller in the Wrangler car, who's about a quarter of a lap ahead, and that's the lap car of Krista Nelson right in front of him right there. So now we're watching the battle for 6th place. Paul Ross, for whatever reason, doesn't seem to be doing too hot in this stint, Sean. He is now under pressure from Richard Lafferty for 6th.
Yeah, well, you know what? It looks like Lafferty's been able to pull that off, and he's found his way around Paul Ross. Lafferty going to get that spot, move up to 6th place here as they come across the line. Sam, good on him, man. That's quite a run by Lafferty. We've talked about him a few times. He had that trouble, was involved in that accident there, and was able to get that car repaired enough to get back out here and be fast. Now he's challenging for coming up on Jonathan Cooper, challenging for 5th place right now. Doing really well in the draft right there. That car is sucking right up to Cooper. And, man, he's going to set him up for a move here as they get ready to head down the back stretch. Head back across the front stretch here.
Let's not forget that Richard Lafferty, I believe, is one of the drivers on newer tyres. Meanwhile, there's not a battle for the lead yet, but in the last 2 laps, I don't know if Tate Lydall has been held up by... As there goes Lafferty on those new tyres by Cooper, and that will move him up into 5th place. I don't know if Tate Lydall has been caught up in a bit of traffic, but Nate Lacombe has shaved off 1 second off of the lead in the last 2 laps. He has gone from being about 5 seconds back to just 3.7 seconds back last time around. They complete lap 52, and the gap is now 3.6 seconds, so he took another tenth out of him that time.
Yeah, well, you know what? There's still plenty of time left in this race to get that done, Sam, and more pit stops to play out here. But that was Nate's Achilles heel on that last pit stop. He's going to have to be really slick on that next green flag pit stop if he hopes to make up that ground he's looking for against Tate Lydall.
And let's not forget, one of the burdens of being the leader, and Tate Lydall is coming into the pits. I was going to say, one of the burdens is that being the leader, the lap cars do not want to let you by because they don't want to go a lap down. Tate Lydall had a very good pit entry, but he had been held up by a lap car. However, another advantage he's going to have going for himself when he gets back out is he's going to have 4 fresh Goodyear tyres that are going to make him go around the circuit quicker than anyone else. We watch Samuel Close right now has moved up into 2nd. He has already fallen about 2 seconds back of Nate Lacombe, and look at the car. Was that a lap car behind him? That was a lap car. Oh, Stevens just got the wall up to turn 4.
And Tate Lydall is off pit road, 4 tires and fuel. He's ready to go.
Yeah, big damage from Mike Stevens. It just happened. I don't know if we could get a replay off of it, but I mean, ultimately he's going to be able to keep going, but I'm sure his car's not going to... You see the end of it right there, and we'll get another angle here. Here he comes, a little bit early, coming into turn 3. Meanwhile, Nate Nakomi, I'm trying to see if any other leaders are coming into the pits. Looks like Jonathan Cooper's here. Here goes Mike, just way too hot out of turn 4. Pancakes wall, but is able to keep going.
Yeah, he was able to keep going, and I got to be honest with you, he's been battling some of that damage for a while. So Mike is just doing all he can right now to just hang on. He is going to go a lap down here at some point here in the real near future. Wow, that was really close. Did you see that, Sam? Tate Lytle almost got into it there with the 31 of Skylar Nissel there. They almost had a wreck.
The fastest car on the track and the slowest car on the track, not of course because of his pace, but because of the damage that's on that number 31 car. Meanwhile, Paul Ross has came into the pits. He's been running in the top 5, had a bad stint going. Well, now you know why. He probably had old tyres on that car, or at least worn out tyres, and thought, hey, let's get in the pits and get these Goodyears replaced. Oh, and Douglas Thompson just got a piece of the ball out of turn 4. As these cars burn off, as these laps count down, these drivers are pushing it closer and closer to the limit, and we're seeing a few of them go over the edge now.
And you know, something else you got to consider here. You know, oh man, that was close. Douglas Thompson is holding his line right there, and then the 83 comes down the track there. Johnny Thomas almost making contact there with Douglas Thompson. It was really close, but what I was going to say is something you got to think about here. You know, we're 56, 55 laps into this race now. 57 actually as we come around here. You know, all these cars catching a little bit of wall here and there. You know what that leads to is these parts on these cars are wearing out every time you damage them just a little bit. So some of these machines aren't handling like they quite were in the early stages of this race. And you're going to have to use a little situational awareness here when you get around these guys. And you better know who's hurt and who's not, because it could end your race if you're not careful.
Jacques Debris does not have an iRace in the count, don't worry about that, so we won't see any of him tonight, although I have a feeling some drivers out here would quite like to see him. But as you say, I'm beginning to worry about the rest of the field unless they really think they have a strategy advantage of not pitting as much. As we watch a battle for 6th there between Justin Cole and Levi Zielinski, because right now, Tate Lytle has been putting on great times on those newer tyres, and not that many front runners have been coming into the pits to get on new tyres themselves. So when this all cycles through, Tate Lytle is going to have a huge lead.
Well, Nick Miller's just completing his pit stop in the number 9 machine there. Nick went in, got four fresh tires and full tank of fuel, and now Nick Miller is making his way to the backstretch, going to come up on that track and get back in this race. Now we see Samuel Close coming in, and yeah, they're starting to make their way to the pit, Sam.
Nate Lacomi comes in again, and he did not learn from the first time around. He was very slow on pit entry. Samuel Close is still behind him, but he's a lot closer than what he was. Samuel Close was actually about 3.5 seconds back of Nate Lacomi. If you look at, and there's a caution on the speedway.
Oh, the caution is out.
It's Race Clark, the number 22 car, has got a lot of damage coming out of the second turn.
Yeah, and Ron Collinsworth caught up in that too. Ron Collinsworth in race. Oh man, that was tough. Race Clark and Collinsworth there get caught up, and that is a mess.
And that is... Oh, and there was a third car there. Who was the third car?
Well, it all started
No, I
with
think it's Jonathan Cooper, who was running up in the top 5. He has had to take a tow into the pits. Watch this, here comes Jonathan Cooper through turns 1 and 2. Bam! Oh, that's Ron Collinsworth. But watch, Jonathan Cooper comes around here. Not sure if we'll get it from this angle. He may have already been involved in the incident by this point.
Well, you know, Race Clark got into the side of the 63 of Mike Stevens, and that shot Clark back up the track into the fence, and then he gets tagged by Collinsworth, who had nowhere to go. Ron Collinsworth had nowhere to go, and then yeah, that's where Jonathan Cooper showed up and got into Collinsworth. Man, that was just that was a mess.
Alright, we're going to get 2 more shots here. We're going to watch Ron Collinsworth on board again because we're sure it startled a few of you the first time around. But let's see, Jonathan Cooper, there he is. That's Cooper there up on the high line. You can see the damage done to his car. And now you understand why he's had to come into the pits, unfortunately. Just the wrong place at the wrong time. We're not exactly sure how this is all going to cycle out because there were cars in the pits as we watch Cooper here. There were cars in the pits when the caution came out, and there were cars in the pits before the caution came out, and there were cars who still left to make a pit stop. But it looks like, as we ride on board Cooper again, see how close he got, I thought I just saw Nate Lacombe going into the pits again. I have a feeling these drivers are gonna all have to make one more stop before the end of a race here, Sean.
Yeah, and I'm showing that is the case. Cooper has blown the motor and he has left the session, guys.
Yeah, we were just trying to figure out if Cooper blew his engine. There was so much smoke, it was quite hard to tell what was going on, and I was wrong. Nate Lacombe was not into the pits. But let's talk about the drivers behind the pace car right now. Paul Ross, a top 5 driver, currently on the tail end of the lead lap, will get a wave around. Justin Kolb is going to be the leader, so Paul Ross, currently sitting in 13th position, is going to be the only car to get a wave around. That means Race Clark, Nick Miller and Dylan Smith are all going to be a lap down. Dan Collinsworth, Krista Nelson, Jonathan Cooper and Ron Collinsworth will all remain 2 laps down. It's only 13 cars left on the lead lap when they get restarted. Unless, of course, Justin Kolb comes into the pit still. We'll wait and see if that happens. But if he doesn't, a lot of drivers are going to be, a lot of lap cars are going to be a little disappointed because they're not going to get their wave around. Let's wait and see. This is their moment of truth right here. Will that number 25 car come into the pits? Yes, he is. So, well, there will be more wave rounds. We've still got a lot to figure out. Tate Lytle will return to the lead, but he will have older tyres. Mind you, that's provided Richard Lafferty and all them came into the pits. Yes, they did. So Tate Lytle will lead Nate Lacombe and Samuel Close again when we come back for the restart. However, Tate has older tyres than Nate and Samuel, but we believe they all still have one more stop to make. This is going to be an interesting finish to this race. We'll bring it to you here live on the TSRC when we return. Hello and welcome back to Michigan International Speedway, where you see the greatest sight of all to see at a racetrack, and that is lights off on the top of the pace car. This has been a three-man show for pretty much the entire race if you take strategy out of the equation, and that is between Tate Lytle in the 4 car, who has old tyres right now, Nate Lacombe, our pole sitter, who has not won the race this season despite being the most dominant car here today, Samuel Close, who just has a great first name and is always up there, and who knows, he may be able to close the deal at the end of this race. Tate Lytle has taken the high line for the restart here. The other two biggies, Nate Lacombe and Samuel Close on the low line. Johnny Thomas and Richard Lafferty round up the top 5. 14 cars left on the lead lap. Mustang pace car turns into the pits now, and Tate Lytle is already on the what do you call it? The
loud pedal,
the
baby.
loud
He's on the
pedal.
loud pedal.
There he goes, and Lacombe and Close working together on the inside. They have dropped far back, and Johnny Thomas does not want to let them escape, although I have a feeling you might not have much of a choice right now.
Richard Lafferty with a nice start there. He's just behind him, sitting there in 5th place, trying to get his way up to the rear deck there at Johnny Thomas. Just behind Lafferty, you got Mike Stevens, who's been all through this field tonight and had his trouble, but Mike Stevens has managed to still keep this car at 6th place after starting 15th tonight.
Oh, what happened to Lacombe off of turn 4? He's very slow. They're all going by to pass him. Johnny Thomas, Samuel Close go by. Nate Lacombe drops to 4. And I'm not comparing Lacombe to Dick Dastardly, but I just can't help but thinking he's saying blast foiled again right now.
You know what? That car pushed Sam. He got a real bad push. Started going towards the fence. He had to get to the binders.
Meanwhile, we're watching the battle for 5th right here with Justin Cole and Richard Lafferty. They've certainly been trying to change the strategy up today. Now, Nate Lacombe in 4th may have had that knock in the wall, like you say, the push is real, Sean. But he certainly doesn't seem to have lost a lot of pace. Obviously, he lost a lot of pace when he was in the wall, because that's just the way the laws of physics work. But he seems to be right back up there with Close and Thomas.
Yeah, actually, I don't think Nate, at least in my replay, I didn't see him actually hit the wall. He got on the binders just in time, but he had to get on the binders, and when you do that, you will obviously lose a lot of speed, but man, he got back to the pedal quick once he got that car righted, and right now, he's looking to set up Johnny Thomas right now.
Talking about the wall, we've had our cameras on the 3-wide battle back there for 7th. It looks like Carlos Acosta got the wall off of turn 4, but it wasn't that heavy. If that's true what you said, Sean, if Lacombe was able to keep it off of the wall by tapping that brake pedal, if he ends up winning this race, that may very well be the move of the race, touching that brake pedal.
Man, there is a battle going on back here. Paul Ross is on rails right now. He's getting his way to Corey Lindsey right now, just moving right up through the field at will right now. Carl Ross has got a well-handling machine right now. That number 51 machine looking hot. Acosta in his mirror. Hasn't quite pulled off that move yet on Mike Stevens, but he's trying to get around him now. I'm sorry, not Mike Stevens, but Corey Lindsey. And there's Stevens coming into the picture, stuck in the middle right now, and Zielinski right there also in. And there he goes, the number 90 of Carl Lindsey into the wall. He does get some of that fence, but gets that car back down in the groove. He's okay.
And great camera work by our director there, says our director. Meanwhile, that keeps us on the green flag racing, right at the point where a caution flag would be able to make him go to the end on fuel. Right now, Sean, no one can make it to the end on fuel.
Yeah, I don't think so. We talked maybe that window was like somewhere between 20 and 24 laps. It looks like, just going back and looking at some of these guys' laps, it's been more like 17 and 19, so I don't think anybody's going to make it on fuel at this point, unless we get another caution. Now, if we get another caution or two, you might be able to gamble, but man, it's going to be close.
There's been a battle for second going on while we've been doing this, but boy, it's actually all the way back to 5th now. Nate Lacombe just made a power move by Samuel Close. If his car is damaged, it's not showing it because he's back up to second. And Johnny Thomas just will not give up. I don't think he's got the fastest car in this pack, but he is making moves. He is fighting for third. I don't think he's going to get it down. I think Close is going to get the run off of turn 2 here. But Johnny Thomas in that 83 car, do not discount him, even though he just lost 4th place to Richard LaFerty.
Okay, so I'm watching this battle right now here. Paul Ross sitting in 8th place. He's got Zielinski right behind him and Tanner Sharp behind Zielinski. And they are trying to get to Douglas Thompson. They're trying to get to Doug Thompson right now. Those three are kind of getting ready to gang up on Doug Thompson. Thompson trying to hold on to 7th place. I don't know if he can pull it off here for much longer.
That's going on a bit further back in the top 10. Right now we're watching Richard LaFerty, who is on rails and just moved up into 3rd place by Samuel Close. Let's go back and have a look at that battle now, because I have a feeling unless Close makes a move here within the next couple of turns, that this battle may have just simmered down a little bit.
Paul Ross getting ready to set up Doug Thompson right now. Paul dips to the inside, Thompson up high, and it's about two cars wide between them. They head down and get ready to come across the stripe here, and Ross has not quite pulled it off yet. Thompson's still there in the lead, and let's see what happens here going into 1. Let's watch this battle real quick. Ross gets that car down low. Thompson losing a little bit of momentum up there up top, working a little bit of side draft now on Ross. Thompson is, and I'm seeing Samuel Close just calling for a pit. Just up ahead of them, Sam Close is coming in.
I think Tate Lytle is too. Nate Lacombe had ran him down for the lead. These drivers think they can get to the end now on one more stop. Tate Lytle and Samuel Close are leading into the pits. I think a couple other cars might lead as well. Now Tate Lytle, yeah, he just wiggled when he went over the commitment cone. I almost wondered if he was speeding a little bit and he was trying to scrub off some speed. We'll wait to see if he gets a black flag or not. I don't think so. He looked like he was down to speed for me. But will the rest of the field come into the pits next time by? That is the question right now. Nate Lacombe leading them down the backstretch.
Paul Ross coming in.
Paul Ross is coming in.
Left sides. Sam Close didn't take any tires just behind him. Lytle took left side tires. Lytle's still in the pit.
You're saying Tate Lytle is still in the pits?
Yeah, he's still in there. I don't know what happened, but he was stuck there forever. That's it. Lytle is now, he's finally out, but I'm not sure what held him up there. He only took left side tires.
Maybe he was serving the penalty? Can you do that? Can you serve a penalty when you speed coming into the pits?
Yeah, he might have gotten hit with a 15-second. Didn't come on and say anything, but yeah, he was in there forever, and he's lost tremendous ground to the front of the field now.
Wow, big mistake from Tate Lytle. It's definitely been the dominant car. Maybe not the car that was going to win the race, because Nate Lacombe looks set to toss him for the lead if he hadn't came in that lap. Obviously, Tate is going to go a lap down here, but he's going to start running out of opportunities here, because he would need 2 cautions to make it work. 1 to get a wave around and 2 to get on new tyres and compete with the rest of the field.
Well, he did get left sides.
Oh, I'm sorry, our camera just whirled there. I had the feeling Johnny Thomas got into the back of Richard LaFerty. That wasn't the case.
Yeah, but they are battling. Johnny Thomas and LaFerty are battling right now. These 2 cars have seen their share of excitement tonight, and to see them up here in the front of the field right now is a bit of a surprise to me. I honestly, the way this race started for both cars, I kind of wondered where they would wind up. But right now they find themselves at the front of the field, still need to make 1 pit stop. But these cars are strong, really strong. As Nate Lacombe. Nate up there still making it work, man. Nate having a great run tonight. He has found himself kind of mired back in 5th and 6th place and had to battle for position, but he's back up where he wants to be, and that's in the clean air right now. Nate looking good as we head into the final stages of this race, Sam. Only 12 laps to go, and we still have several drivers that are going to need to come in and get some fuel real quick.
Yes, and the first of the drivers that don't is Samuel Close. Now remember, the advantage with Samuel Close is actually on the lead lap. The advantage to being Nate Lacombe, if you do have to pit, is one, you're not going to have to take that much fuel, and two, you're probably not going to have to take any tyres, because if you've only got 5 laps left, you know, you need so little fuel to get to the end that you don't really want to waste that time on tyres. But I have a feeling that the leaders of the two strategies right now are Nate Lacombe and Samuel Close, the two drivers coincidentally Sean we picked at the start of a race.
Yes, we did. Justin Kolb is in, but this work right now that Lafferty and Thomas are doing is really paying off big dividends. They are getting closer every lap here to Nate Lacombe. But I got a feeling Nate's going to bring this car in any second here. He's seen some of the guys that he's been battling with get in there and get in the pits now, and I got a feeling here in the next lap or two he is going to put that car in. But man, this battle right here behind him between Lafferty and Thomas, these two will not give up, and they are racing hard trying to get to our leader, Nate Lacombe.
Well, the restart wasn't that long ago, about 10 laps ago, and the 8 cars that have not pit yet have 20 seconds between them. That does make you think, that seems a bit excessive, that does make you think that maybe those cars at the back have been in fuel conservation mode ever since the restart, so maybe Samuel Close will have some work to do. I'm like you, I think Nate Lacombe's gotta bring it in, but as well as Richard Lafferty and Johnny Thomas, they're running out of time though. Now, what they might want to try and work for, if a caution comes out with about 4 or 5 laps to go, which happens in about 4 or 5 laps time, it will go caution to the end, but you've still got to make it on fuel, even under caution, and into the wall goes Thomas. Nate Lacombe's just announced he's coming into the pits this lap.
Yes, he is, and Nate is bringing it in. I'm going to keep my eyes on Nate, see what he decides to do here. I really doubt he's going to put any tires on that car. I look for him to just take fuel only, and that's it. And not much of it, to be honest with you. This should be only about a 7 to 8 second pit stop, if even that much there, Sam.
Another car coming into the pits not too far behind him, but meanwhile I am more interested on finding Samuel Close on the speedway. He is currently working his way down into turn 3 as we continue to watch Nate Lacombe pull into his pit stall.
He went too far! He went too far! He overshot it and he paid for it. He's taking right side tires.
Samuel Close working his way by the front stretch, even if Nate Lacombe left his pit stall right now, which he is doing.
He spins it coming off the pit.
He Briscoed it.
His race is over. What a shame. Oh my.
Lafferty into the pit. Johnny Thomas currently leads the race.
Wow, I think if it wasn't for bad luck, I don't think Lacombe would have any luck at all. And yeah, Lafferty overshoots his pit as well. And he's taking right side tires.
Oh, this is just working more and more into Close's favour. I'm trying to find Johnny Thomas.
Johnny Thomas is coming in. He's coming in right now.
Okay.
Thomas is coming in now. He just called it. He has got that car down to speed. Gets across there. I don't know. He might have been a little fast. I was showing 57 miles an hour on my speedometer.
Lafferty coming out of the pits. That leaves Zielinski. He is coming into the pits. No, he is not. 7 laps to go. Zielinski is not using up all of the track. His last lap time around was 43 seconds. He just ran a 44. Zielinski is trying to stretch it to the end, and he is 23 seconds ahead of Samuel Close.
And he is definitely, I would say, off pace, only running about 150 miles an hour right now. I think Zielinski has got an ace in the hole here, thinks he can maybe pull this thing off.
Corey Lindsay in second, Mike Stevens in third, then it is Samuel Close. Let's see when they come around the line this time by. Our timing and scoring will update for sure and can give you intervals. Well, actually, you can see it dynamically on your screen right here. 6.5 seconds and closing as Corey Lindsay behind him. Across the line goes Zelensky.
Off the front stretch, they're spinning in the grass. I'm going back to try and see who it was.
Mike Stevens?
Yeah, Mike
Stevens. He was one of the ones trying to save fuel to the end. But significantly, that does not bring the caution out. If it had, that would have almost sealed the deal for Zelensky. And you know why that is? That's because Zelensky was so off. Stevens was so off a pace. He was trying to save fuel.
Yeah, and Samuel Close had to avoid him, and Sam had to make an evasive move down into the pit lane. So Samuel Close is going to have to go back in and probably serve a back flag.
And he's fallen to 10th. So Stevens hit the wall. And as you say, Samuel Close is all the way back in 10th place right now. His chances for winning have gone. We are with 5 laps left to go. Levi Zelensky has a 5-second lead over Corey Lindsay and Johnny Thomas. Put all your names in the hat, throw the hat up in the air, catch one of the names when it falls out. That's who's going to win this race.
Well, and Samuel Close had his black flag cleared.
Yeah, Zelensky is pushing the clutch in the turns, and that's what you hear there, where there's absolutely no revs. That is how he is saving fuel. And Johnny Thomas just pulled 2 seconds out of the hat that time around. Johnny Thomas has moved by Corey Lindsay into second, and within a lap or two will take the lead of this race. But does Johnny Thomas have the fuel to make it to the end? I'm not sure when the last time he pit was. It's telling me he's only pit 3 times this race. How the heck's he done that? Here comes Johnny Thomas. He'll have the lead before the completion of lap 87, but there's still 3 laps left to go.
Well, Thomas gets by, and you just got to wonder, is one of these guys going to run out of fuel here?
3 laps to go. We'll find out in 6 miles' time.
Yeah, here comes Corey Lindsay and Lafferty. Lafferty is making his way up. Ooh, Corey Lindsay's off pace. I wonder if Lindsay is out of fuel. He's in the pits. Lindsay, he had to go in.
And I'm seeing a couple other names in the pits, but they're lap down cars. Levi still going slow, still trying to save every drop of fuel he's got. Johnny Thomas. You have a feeling if Johnny Thomas was trying to save fuel, he would have backed off once he got the lead. Let's see, how fast is he? He's going flat out down the front stretch. Zelensky into the pits. He couldn't make it.
And he spun it, and Zelensky has spun the car going into the pits. No contact.
Richard Lafferty is in second. 2.8 seconds behind Thomas last time around, but Thomas has given it all he's got. I confess I do not know how much fuel Thomas has left, but he seems to think he has a lot more left than what I think he has.
Well, Richard Lafferty now, he took a pit stop, so he's good on fuel. He can run this thing wide open right now. Johnny Thomas got to be careful here as he's running pretty slow. Well, now he's on the pedal right now. Thomas is actually on the pedal, so I think he's just going to take his chance here. White flag is out.
White flag is out. Wow, what a race. Tate Lytle probably would have won this race, but overshot his pit stall and then spun on pit exit. That made it look like Samuel Close was going to win this race until he basically had to go down pit road to avoid an incident. Johnny Thomas, whose name we barely mentioned this race, is going to come and complete lap 90 and take a checkered flag. What a victory!
And Lafferty just behind him there. Justin Kolb finishes third. Paul Ross right there also finishing there in 4th place, and rounding out 5th place is gonna be Douglas Thompson with Acosta all over him, trying to get there, but Acosta can't pull it off. Acosta gonna have to settle for 6th there, Sam.
Yeah, that's a good finish for Carlos Acosta, who was running out of top 10, running outside the top 10 most of the race. Samuel Close finishes in 7th. It's something about 6 places higher. Everyone's finished. We'll give you the full rundown order. We'll have interviews when we come back. Hello and welcome back to Michigan International Speedway, where we just saw, I don't really know how to describe that race, Sean, but it was something. I guess let's read down the order and then we'll talk to some drivers, try and figure it all out.
Yeah, well, our winner tonight, the number 83, Johnny Thomas. Big win for Johnny. Richard Lafferty comes home in second tonight, and Richard had an interesting night, man. He had trouble early and manages to come home second. Good run for Richard. Justin Cole back there in third. Paul Ross, great run for Paul Ross. You know, we didn't talk about him a whole lot until the later stages of the race, and he manages to come home fourth. Douglas Thompson comes home in fifth. Doug had a great race too. Doug had some trouble there off and on throughout the whole race and still manages to come home fifth. Carlos Acosta, we talked about him. He was up front battling early in this race, comes home sixth. Samuel Close, a little bit of misfortune there for him in the closing stages of this race. Has to bring that car home in seventh. And Tate Lytle, same thing for him, man. Tate had a little bit of trouble there on pit road. Had to serve a penalty. It cost him, and he finishes eighth. Nick Miller comes home ninth. And Tanner Sharp, league organizer in the number 3, he comes home in 10th tonight. I'm sure Tanner would have hoped for a better race, but he brought the car home clean, gets a top 10, and finishes on the lead lap, Sam.
Levi Zielinski will finish in unfortunate 11th place. He was a lap down, as was Corey Lindsay, who also tried to use that strategy at the end. Kristen Nelson pulled off a decent 13th place finish at the end there. Remember, she had trouble early on. Mike Stevens, our in-race reporter, thanks for talking to us, Mike. I'm sure you're not entirely happy with 14th place 2 laps down there. That's the way it goes sometimes. Dylan Smith was 15th place, and then Nate Lacombe, who spun it on pit exit, he finishes 16th. The drivers behind that all had a bit of trouble. Dan Collinsworth in 17th, and then the rest were all drivers heavily damaged. Race Clark in 18th, Skylar Nissel in 19th, Jonathan Cooper in 20th, Ron Collinsworth in 21st, and Nathan Young in 22nd. We have a few drivers here that we would like to talk to. First of all is our winner tonight, and that is Johnny Thomas. Johnny Thomas, congratulations on the win that... From our standpoint, 15 minutes ago, I'm pretty sure you weren't entirely sure you would be sitting in victory lane.
No, not at all. I knew I had a quick car, but I was not as fast as Nate and Sam and Tate. But I guess they took 4 tires on that last pit stop, and I took 2, and me and Sam got out there. But Sam got involved in that incident. I don't know what happened to him.
Yeah, it got quite crazy there at the end. I'm pretty sure the broadcast will be able to explain what happened a bit better than we did. But at the end of the day, your gap back to Richard Lafferty there was 2.5 seconds. So whatever strategy you had, it worked. It looked like you only pit 3 times during the race. Was that your game plan as soon as the green flag dropped?
Yeah, I knew I could make it on 3 stops, just based on what kind of fuel mileage I was getting in practice. But I knew I wasn't gonna make it on that last green flag run. I think a couple guys were trying to make it, but I ended up coming down pit road and I took 2 tires. I think that's what won me the race.
Well, it certainly did end up winning you the race. Your first win of this season. Look forward to seeing you back in 2 weeks in Milwaukee. Anything else you'd like to say before we let you go and celebrate?
No, I want to thank Corey. I've known Corey for a long time, racing on Xbox way back, and he made a pretty great league. And thanks you guys for broadcasting this race.
Well, we very much enjoyed the show you all put on tonight. Congratulations once again. See you in Milwaukee.
Yeah, thanks. See you later.
And that was your race winner, Johnny Thomas. Sean Ambrose has caught up with our 3rd place finisher, Justin Kolb.
Hey, Justin, man, nice run for you tonight. Put that car up in 3rd place, and what a run. I'm sorry, 3rd place run for you tonight. There in that Steve Burns tribute machine. I think old Stevie would be pretty proud of that run tonight. How you feeling right now?
Oh, it seems we had a couple. Oh, here he goes.
Justin, are you with us, buddy?
Justin Kolb having some mic issues. I think he's having some technical difficulties and isn't able to keep in the channel. So we will speak with our 10th place finisher and league admin Tanner Sharp, who finished in 10th place. You've got him down there as well, Sean.
Hey, Tanner, nice run tonight, man. You bring it home top 10, stay on the lead lap, but I don't know, it was pretty tough out there. There was a lot to avoid here in the later stages of this race and even in the early part of the race, but it did look like it came down to a little bit of fuel strategy there at the end, and we were talking about that before the race. How did it all work out for you, buddy?
Well, prior to that one caution, thought we topped off on that one to go signal, and I don't know. I guess we were using too much gas, and we tried saving, but it didn't pan out for us. But I thought I was good to go, but there was a lot of guessing going on, a lot of recalculating, and just didn't work out. I just put up with it. I just went down pit road to get gas only and just be gone.
Well, that was 90 minutes of white knuckle excitement there from you guys tonight. Heck of a run here at 3 wide, and real exciting race. Certainly, the closing stages of that race got even more exciting there with some misfortune there to Nate Lacombe, and we had Tate Lytle have a little trouble there on pit road, and that really turned the whole field upside down. And then, of course, you had guys playing out fuel strategy. So I think you guys had got everything you planned for. What do you think there?
Yeah, I believe we did. I had no idea what happened to Nate and all them guys. I had no idea. I had no knowledge of it whatsoever. So, but yeah, it was all planned out. Me and I think it was Levi, aka Rowdy. We were on the same strategy. Fan out for us at the end, but glad for a top 10 finish.
Well, next week you guys head off to the Milwaukee Mile. Certainly going to be a much different race there. That track suits your style just a little bit better, or are you a bigger fan of these open tracks?
I'm a bigger fan of the open tracks, but it is my home track, Milwaukee Mile, since in Wisconsin, and I live in Wisconsin. So, but I'm not a big fan of the flat tracks. But I still love the racing there. I just can't get over the racing. But yeah, we look forward to going into next week and try to perform a better performance. And if it comes down to fuel mileage again, well, got to practice that a little bit.
I hear you, but overall, I'd say a good run. You brought the car home clean, and you finished the race on the lead lap in 10th, and that'll be a decent point nights for you. So good to you. Who would you like to thank for tonight's effort?
Corey Lindsay, main guy for the league. You guys, Global Sim Racing Network, for putting on the broadcast tonight. RLJ Customs for sponsoring the series. It's a good sponsor. Amp Energy, Mountain Dew, National Guard. My teammates. Everybody who shows up to the race with us tonight. Without all them guys, without all you guys too, all this really wouldn't be possible.
Well, thanks again for coming on up into the booth. We look forward to seeing you next week at the Milwaukee Mile. Get a good week of practice in, and we'll see you on the track.
Thank you guys. See you next week.
All right, Sam, I'm going to hand it back to you, and I think we're going to get ready to put a pretty bow on this thing.
A very pretty bow indeed. Tate Lytle looks like he was going to win. Speeds into the pits. Nate Lacombe looked like he was going to win. Spins coming out of the pits. Samuel Close looked like he was going to win. Had to take evasive action and run into the pits. Johnny Thomas comes out as the winner. And we will be back in 2 weeks at the Milwaukee Mile. But first, we would like to thank members of the makers of the various software and hardware that help make this stream possible: iRacing.com, XSplit, Audio Technica, and Ava Media. Thanks to the team today, Sean and Kevin. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, you can find it at www.globalsimracingchannel.com, along with archived races and race highlights. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at facebook.com/globalsimracingchannel. And a special thanks to Dougie Beard for creating the camera sets that you saw during the stream, and a special thank you to Eric Etcombe, who provides us with much of our music. You can find it not only here on GSRC, but in TV commercials, movie trailers, iTunes, and Spotify. If you like our music, tell Eric where you heard it at ericetcombe.com. We'll be back in 2 weeks at the marking while. Thanks to Free Wide Racing for all coming out and racing with us tonight. It was a great show. No, it didn't quite work out for all the drivers. So, until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.